Hey guys, and welcome back to Brexit Britain, a country that had a bet with a friend. Let's just call the friend the EU. The bet was, I bet Britain cannot run as fast as a horse. Britain took the bet. The next day, unfortunately, was the Grand National. Britain went to the Grand National, decided just as the race started to jump the fence and was among the horses sprinting, running as fast as possible as if it was 100-yard dash. They was doing a Usain Bolt type dash. Unfortunately, Britain was then taken out by one of the horses and trampled by the very same horse. The horse's name was Stop Brexit. Ironically, the horse was coming in last. And also, guys, this is by any means necessary. Thank you for all of your messages you sent me, and a special thanks here to everybody who signed up to my channel. I feel so blessed with so much people that have signed up, so thank you so much for that. Yeah, I'll go through all your messages, I'll answer as many as I can, but I will like all your messages for definite. So today is the 25th of October, which is a very important day for people who live in London, especially if your motherfucking car is non-compliant, because this is the day they start, right, to get all the working classes off the road. This is the day they start this shit, right? An extra £12, £12 or £12.50 a day, right, to drive your car within the A406, not on the A406, within the A406, right? So I mean, this is some of the most deprived parts of London are going to I mean they're not going to be able to own vehicles really. I mean a lot of these people can't afford vehicles that are compliant in that way. That is 6 year. I think your vehicles are you got to be 6 years old, or it's got to be you've got to have a compliant engine. Do you know what I mean to be driving in London? I mean it's just completely ridiculous what this I cannot believe that a mayor would do this to I know the reason why he could get to do it was obviously because this is his last term as a mayor, right? And so it was either vote for Sadiq Khan knowing he was going to do this, or vote for the Tories, right? For the mayor of London, because then the independents are going to get in, and we don't know, we don't know what they would have been like either, so I don't know. I mean, the whole thing is just completely shocking. I mean, the congestion charge in the first place was a liberty, and I mean, it started around, I think it was around £5 or £6 when it first started, and it was an absolute liberty then, right? And now at like £12 a day. Right, it's just like I'm quite sure that's going to be costing people. That's a lot of people are going to be paying probably £200 a month. After they've paid road tax for their car, as well. Do you know what I mean? And then if you've got like one of them schemes where you've got to have like some type of voucher or something like that outside on your car, outside your house, and all that type of nonsense. Do you know what I mean? It's just all these things are designed, right, to just keep the working classes off the road. They don't want the working classes on the road. Right? They don't want not only have they taken away your freedom of movement, they're taking away your freedom to drive, to be able to drive in London as well. Do you know what I mean? Because there's so many people whose car is, when I'm driving in London, there's so many cars that I see who are not compliant, and they're never, so what, I don't know what is going to happen from today, but I do know so much people are in a lot of trouble. There's a lot of trouble going on out there. Do you know what I mean? You got all the carers. A lot of these people are driving like 57 plate cars and things like that. Do you know what I mean? And like 59 plate. I mean, maybe a 60 plate. But a lot of these cars they're not compliant, which is just just unbelievable how they can do it in this way. Do you know what I mean? There must have been other ways they can do this without having to drive, hard working class people off the roads. There must have been some other way they can do it. Do you know what I mean? Because you can go down roads, you can go down roads in London, and there's going to be whole roads of cars that are not compliant, right? So what are these people to do? What are they supposed to do? They might be driving their car. They're driving their car to get to work. They might not be able to use public transport. You can go and tell you can go and tell a plumber, right, who's got a little diesel van. How you can go and tell the plumber that you know what, you can go on public transport, can't you? You just go on the train. Do you know what I mean? Go and do your work. That's it. Go and do whatever you on the train. No, it's not gonna. They're gonna carry. They're gonna carry like to some copper pipes if they need those things on the train or on the bus. Do you know what I mean? This just it's ridiculous. Like I see people driving like horse boxes. People because people who live like in Kent, Surrey, or Essex, right? A lot of that's very rural. So a lot of these people, they might have to drive across London to get to places, and a lot of them are driving like most of them will be driving diesel vehicles because they're driving carrying a horse box with them. So a lot of them are driving vehicles that are not going to be compliant. Right, so and then people who come into London, who drive into London, might someone drive from Manchester or Leeds, Birmingham, Bath. I said it again, right? But these they could be driving from anywhere, they could be driving from Scotland, from Ireland, and coming to London. And they're not driving a car that's compliant. It's a real liberty. I mean, the only way for people to deal with it is to just say, what, we're not paying it, and if everybody doesn't just says, what, we're not paying it, that would be the only way of dealing with it. Do you know what I mean? That's the only way of dealing with it. Do you know what I mean? But we should have really made sure that they could have never brought something like this in, because this is ruinous. It's ruinous to London and to the people of London. It's absolutely ruinous. These guys, I don't know what their problem is, right? But I do know, right, that everything they do is designed to hurt the working class people. Everything these people do, right? Whether it just seems whether they are Tory or Labour, right? They all seem to be in one clique, right? Because remember, this will not affect them, right? Because they will all have cars that are compliant, and if they haven't, they'll just buy a car that's compliant. It's not going to affect them in any way at all. Yeah, they can afford to just go out and say, I'll just buy an electric car. They can afford to do that, right? But if you're driving, if you've got like a 3.5 ton like Mercedes van, right? I don't think they have a vehicle, right, that is electric, that's adequate for that type of thing. I don't think they have. So they haven't got all the technology out there yet anyway, right? But they're still putting all of this on us, the working classes, because we are the people we're just finished now, because they're just saying to us, we don't even want, something, we don't even want you on the road, right? And something, if we can convince working class people, to lose your own freedom of movement, we can also take away your right to drive. We can also do that, because it starts at £12. Starts at £12, right? But where we'll be in 5 years' time, we won't be at £12 in 5 years' time. You're probably looking at £18 a day. Do you know what I mean? So it's it's an absolute, what it is. It's an absolute liberty, and people should just say, what, I'm not paying it. And if everybody done that, just completely in mass, everybody just said, what, we're not paying this. Right, just completely in mass. Do you know what I mean? And then when the bailiffs come to take your neighbour's car, everybody has to go out there and help. Everybody has to go out there and say to the bailiff, no, you're not taking it. You're not going to take it. Everybody on that road, just come out and just say, what, you're not taking it. You're not taking this person's car. No, you're not. You're not doing it. Do you know what I mean? And that's the only way to deal with it, right? Because and we all have to stand up for our neighbours. Because the next day it could be you where the bailiffs come, from everyone just says, what, we're not paying this. Bailiffs come, everybody just comes out and says, what, no, you're not taking this person's car. Done. Go away. Done. Do you know what I mean? Call the police, but because what, there's 600 people out there. So so the police just say to the bailiff, listen, what, you have to allow that, because there's there'll be a riot here, so you have to allow that. You have to deal with this in a different way. Do you know what I mean? But it's an absolute liberty. I didn't expect to speak about that for that long, but it's really is just taking the absolute fucking piss out of us. That's what it's doing. All right, but you'll be glad to know, or you may well not be glad to know, right, that Insulate Britain are back. After 10 days, they said, what? They did warn, right? And they're back today. I believe there's somewhere up the city near Liverpool Street, somewhere around that type of way. Do you know what I mean? And they're back, and I think they've come with some new tactics. I don't know what the new tactics are, but well, it's a new tactic for them to go to the heart of the city. That is a new tactic. Do you know what I mean? Where people have already got congestion charge, plus the ULEZ has been up there already. Do you know what I mean? So you have to pay you have to pay something like £25 to drive up there anyway a day. you know, right? So they're back and they're making a complete nuisance of themselves. I've heard that the police are trying to drag the commuters are trying to drag people out of the way and all that type of stuff. I think the police are there, so so it's just again, Insulate Britain, they're back, they're causing a major nuisance, and today they're in the heart of London, So if you see this before you got the heart of London, right, then avoid it, right, because they're up there and they're making a complete nuisance of themselves up there, But as I always say, that people should not, start getting hands on with these people. You've got to leave them to get on with what they're getting on with. And let's just speak about some Brexit quickly, yeah. So do you realise, right, that Germany, right, is now flooding Britain, right, with pork. Right, because a few years back, Germany had a swine. They had some type of swine flu in it, right? So their pork was banned from a lot of places. So obviously, Germany now, they've got a pork trade, and it's a really lucrative pork trade Germany's got, right? But and now, right, this is a real Brexit benefit, right, for Germany. Germany have a real, when I say a real Brexit benefit, this is a real Brexit, because now they're literally just chucking a lot of cheap pork into Britain, right? While we are I keep saying slaughtering, culling, right? Our pigs, right? Because we haven't got enough butchers to deal with them. But you'll be glad to know that we have applied, I think, for 1,000 butchers from the EU. I don't even know how much we've had so far, yeah. But I do know, yeah, it's not going to be very much, or they would have been shouting about it from the rooftops. The government would have been, see, we've sorted that problem out, even though they've caused the problem in the first place. When someone does something, yeah, and then they come along and say, oh. It's like, someone come, it's like a glazer coming to your house and smashing your windows, right? And then 20 minutes later coming around the corner and saying, oh, your windows has been smashed. Can have you called anyone yet? Because I'm a glazer. That's what Boris Johnson, that's Boris Johnson and this bunch of idiots. Because what you've got to understand about these guys, yeah, is they're all highly educated, right? But there is not one bit of common sense between them. And that is what you get with a lot of highly educated people. You find that a lot of them, right, have just got no common sense at all. They're as thick as two short planks, right? And you see, there's a difference, yeah, between someone being educated and someone having common sense. There's a real difference between those two, right? And you look at Boris Johnson. Boris Johnson's whole life has been about someone who has no common sense, right? From when he was a small child, right? He thought that that he could do whatever he wanted in the world, right? And that has come that has gone right through to him being a joke figure of our prime minister. Right, and then the people who he surrounded himself with, right? All of these people, yeah, these people are all like Oxford and Cambridge graduates, and and some of them have gone to like places like Harvard, like in the case of like Kwasi Kwarteng went to Harvard as well, right? So these people are a lot of these people are highly educated, right? But then if you look at the people that he threw out of the party, right, when he wanted to, when he needed, a load of clowns around him, all of those people that he threw out, yeah, was all the real sensible Tories, that all those he threw out, and then I look at his bench, right, and I'm seeing, yeah, 6 or 7 or even maybe 8 people of colour, in there, right? And what you got to understand here is there are people of colour and there are people of colour. Some people of colour are the wrong people. Okay, because if you're a person of color and your parents benefited, right, from immigration, right, and then you want to vote against that type of thing, right, what does that say about you? I mean, I don't even know how you look at yourself. Right? I could never vote against, if I was in their position, I could never vote, right, against some of the immigration stuff what they've done. I could never vote for that, never. Just never. It wouldn't even cross my mind to say, I'm voting. I'm voting for a wave machine in the in the channel. I'm voting to put a wave machine there. I'm voting to turn the boats back to France. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Just ridiculous. That's what I say. So, some people of color, yeah, are just the wrong people of color. That's that just explains them. Just start, it's. They're very difficult to explain. Like, racist black and Asian people, very, very difficult to. I've been sidestepped. Right, I'm supposed to be talking about Brexit, right? So, right. So as I said, yeah, we're being flooded by pork from Germany, right? While we are culling off our very own pigs, right? Which is just really stupid. A stupid thing to do, right? Yeah. Okay. Right. So now. Right, France have threatened, right, to shut off the supply to Gibraltar. Right, if Britain does not give them the licenses, they're going to shut it off. Done. Right. Again, I hope that you Brexiters, right, are looking forward, right, to making Britain a big bunch of fools, because that's how we look worldwide. Right. So France now is just like, you know what? Right, if we don't, so we're just being threatened on every angle now, right? Over the fishing, right? Whether whether it's what we're going to block the Channel Tunnel, right? We're going to block up all the ports, right? We're going to shut your power off in Gibraltar if you don't give us these licenses. And what can we threaten them with? We're not going to give you those fishing licenses. And then what happens after that? So you Brexiters, yeah, remember what I keep telling you, yeah, this is all on you, right? You are the people, right, who have fucked this country up, right? And you know something? I hope that you're all feeling really ashamed of yourself. I know you're not, because you're too racist to feel ashamed of yourself. And you see, racist people, yeah, have no shame. And that's why you can't feel no shame, because racist people don't have any shame. Right, things don't. Nothing matters for you. You could be caught naked and you don't care, right? Because you have no shame. Okay, that just goes for all of you people. That goes for all of you Brexiters. That's what happens. Do you know what I mean? Because remember what I say, yeah. Either you're racist or you're damn stupid. You choose which one of those two you are. Right? And stupid people either don't have no shame. Okay, stupid, because because if you did, you wouldn't do stupid stuff. Okay, like vote right for your own stupid demise and bring me down with you. Okay. Anyway, guys, this is By Any Means Necessary. I'm the MC John Ribs. It was really nice to speak to you guys. Comments below.